Hazan. The wedding gown, a celebration of life. What is it about wedding gowns that makes our hearts flutter? The feeling of excitement of seeing the bride and groom on their day of celebration, their family and friends together to mark this special occasion. What is it about that wedding day? The ceremony. After the ceremony, when the bride and groom take a little break before coming back for the festivities. Well, I'd like to tell you a story about my first time, and it's about a wedding dress. It's not what you think it is. I'd like to take you, ladies and gentlemen, to Egypt, to Alexandria. The year is 1948. A young woman of elegant beauty was on the beach. She loved to swim in the Mediterranean. She was my mother, Eddie Pardo. On that day, in the beach, she met a young man whose name was Eli Tota. He was visiting from Damascus, Syria, and he came to work in Egypt. The two of them met, and they clicked, and they spent the entire week on the beach together. Things clicked very quickly in those days. After 1 week, Eli proposed wedding ceremony to Eddie, and she immediately said oui. And then Eli sent an ambassador to Clément, Eddie's father, to ask permission to take his daughter in his hands as his wife. And Clément said oui. Then it was time to get ready. Eddie was a fashion designer, couturière, and her passion in life was to make elegant clothing of beauty and grace. It had to be simple, yet elegant, and she sewed quickly. In 1948, in October, Eli and Eddie were married at the Eliyahu Hanavi Synagogue, a very old and historic synagogue in Egypt, in Alexandria. And this is their photo. They then had some dilemmas. What were they going to do? Because you see, being a Jew in Egypt was not going to be la bonne vie like my mother had growing up. And they had to decide. They had to move. Where would they move? They thought of the United States. They were both French citizens. However, the United States government said, no, you cannot come in. For even though my father was a French citizen, he was born in Syria, and the US government said, you cannot come in. So where did they go? North. Where did they speak French? Canada. Of course, Montreal in Quebec. And so they were off for a new adventure in their lives. There's a very famous French-Canadian song. Mon pays, ce n'est pas mon pays, c'est l'hiver. My country, it is not my country, it is winter. Mon jardin, ce n'est pas mon jardin, c'est la plaine. My garden, it is not my garden, it is the prairie. And so they moved up north. They had never seen so much snow, so much ice, and navigating themselves to call Canada home. When we were growing up, we went skiing, we went tobogganing, we went skating, and we claimed Canada as our homeland. My sister came first, Danielle, then I was next, and then my brother, Maurice. So there was only 4 years between the three of us. My parents were very intent on creating a family unit quickly. The years passed. Now, it's 1978 to 1980. I am home from Brandeis University, where I'm getting my master's degree, and I'm the curious type, in case you don't know. I was downstairs in the basement. Have any of you ever had homes with cedar closets in it? Buried treasures, I tell you, are in cedar closets. I ran downstairs, je farfouillais, as we say in French. I was going up and down, and all of a sudden, I saw something, and I felt it soft and silky. What's this? I lifted the hanger. Oh my! It was my mother's wedding dress. I had never, ever seen it in my life, except in pictures. I ran upstairs, I closed the door, I scattered back down. I tried the dress. It fit me perfectly. I have to tell you, I'm short. So aside from the length, it fit me in all the right places, for I am my mother's daughter. Then I asked myself, what should I do? Should I go upstairs and show my mother the dress that brought her so much joy? And then I thought, my father died when I was 12. And if I was going to go upstairs and show her the dress and me wearing it, would she start to cry? Would she be sad? And so I hung the dress back, and the dress and I kept our secret together. The years passed, and I was back in Montreal. This time, Danielle, Morris, and I were packing up the house, and my mother was moving to an assisted living facility. This time, I asked the question, can I take the dress with me? Of course. So now that beautiful dress hangs in my closet here in Chicago. And so tonight, with a venue of friends and colleagues and people who care about stories, we are here tonight to celebrate the art of storytelling. Because once you hear this story, you can pass on your stories from one generation to the next. And I know that Eddie is here with us tonight with her needle and thread and her fabric, ready to sew and to create a new story for all of us to share. Mamie, je t'adore et je t'envoie des baisers. Mamie, I love you and I'm sending you kisses. Thank you.
Give it up for Lynn.